Raid etiquette. Many people don't talk about it, but most people follow it. There is an inherent importance to being a well-behaved and considerate raider in Pokemon GO, especially now when more and more restrictions are starting to appear within the game. You may have noticed it, certain gyms and Pokestops closing after certain hours, different warning prompts when you open up the game, messages in raid lobbies reminding you to be courteous, and probably the most annoying thing of all, gyms and Pokestops being removed. All of this is a result of a class action lawsuit related to raid etiquette, which I will get into deeper later in this video. For what it's worth, the negative actions of a few could impact the quality of life for the many, and we are certainly seeing that now. Fortunately, those bad eggs are far and few between, and pretty much every community around the world do not tolerate bad behavior. The vast majority of the current active Pokemon GO players know not to vandalize, trespass, and overall be a nuisance in parks and public spaces where they play. But for the sake of this video essay, let's discuss why it's important to be a well-behaved raider. Now, of course, with every video, I have to give my spiel. If you end up enjoying this video, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell as well. And make sure you check out the links in the description below for some really cool stuff and other videos. Alright, let's get right into it. Ever since raiding was released in Pokemon GO, players began congregating in parks, businesses, residential buildings, restaurants, and street corners. This is of course because raiding requires several players to be at one location. While a majority of businesses and restaurants welcome the foot traffic, several building owners and business owners would see this as loitering and trespassing. Even though raiders seldom cause trouble, some people just don't like having this sort of activity at their property, and I can totally understand that. Ultimately, some people will not change, but for the many who do welcome raiders to their local businesses and locations, it is our responsibility as players to make sure they continue welcoming us. Raid etiquette is very simple. Don't screw over your fellow players and be well behaved in the locations of the raid. This seems like it should be common sense, a no-brainer, but even 2 years later, we still see cases of raiders showing horrible etiquette. I don't necessarily see many videos talking about raid etiquette, so here is a bit of a guide on the subject. I'm going to break down this guideline into 2 parts. First, on good raid etiquette between players, and then good raid etiquette for public places. Starting off, here is a basic guideline for how you can be a good raider to other players. First, be on time. If your group sets a raid time, don't be the one player who rolls up 5 minutes late and makes everyone back out and re-lobby. This can be a huge inconvenience to everyone, and just because you agree to be at the raid doesn't entitle you to have everyone run on your schedule. Always try to be early to a raid. I totally understand that things can happen that could prevent you from arriving early or being on time, but do the best you can. I typically like to be at the raid 5 minutes before the agreed start time. This allows for early starts, early coordination, and just in general, better preparedness. In general, you want to be early to raids. Be the first to arrive and not the last to leave in a train. If you are running late to the raid, just tell the group that you will meet them at the next raid, or communicate that you need a few more minutes. Unless it's a hard start, they can usually accommodate. Second, don't start too early while players are still on the way to the raid. Unless the raid is a hard start, communicate with your group if they are ready to start. If a player is still on the way to the raid, don't just simply shut them out, but communicate. Ask how far away they are, or if they are willing to go to the next raid. Be polite, don't be rude, and remember that stuff happens. Sudden waves of traffic or bad luck with traffic lights could cause players to run a minute or 2 late. Also, if you see players in the lobby before the set start time, don't treat this as an indicator that the raid has started. Sometimes it's spoofers trying to join in on your coordinated group. Other times, it could be a player who isn't part of your Discord or chat group, and they simply saw a large group of players and started a lobby thinking everyone will join in. Rather than screwing over certain players in order to fill a lobby, wait and communicate. I cannot stress this enough. Third, make sure you indicate whether or not the raid is a hard or soft start. There are 2 ways you can set a raid time for a raid, a soft start and a hard start. While communicating with your group, set a raid time as a soft start if you want to be loose with your start time. In other words, a soft start is an estimated time for the start, but you will allow a little bit of breathing room in case several players are running late. Now, a hard start is exactly what it sounds like. If you set a hard start at a specific time, then that means the lobby is going to start at exactly that specific time. Typically, you will set a hard start if the raid timer is about to end, or if you are in a raid train, or if the raid is within an inconvenient time window where people will need to get back to work or end their lunch break. Communicating this to your group is absolutely important. People need to know whether or not they can make it in on time, or if they should skip this one out and don't inconvenience the group. Fourth, be active and social. Making yourself known to your raid mates can be a key factor in successful raids. Socializing not only boosts morale, but it builds a sense of community. This can definitely keep the game alive in your area, and it can allow for better communication between players for future raids. I can't tell you how many times players didn't even know about Discord until they decided to socialize with the group. Let me know if you're familiar with this scenario. Your group arrives to a raid, and a random person whom you've never seen before is sitting on a bench nearby and is seemingly waiting for you guys to start the raid. You walk up to the person, lift up your phone and point at it to see if they are raiding too. Turns out they are, and you ask them to join your Discord group. Chances are this person is a great addition to your raid group, but if you didn't socialize, you would have never known this person was looking for a community. Now, socializing is not a requirement for being a good raider, and I totally understand that not everyone is extroverted and may not feel comfortable socializing with strangers, but it does help every now and then if you step out of your car during a raid and say hi. 5. Be inclusive. Whether you have 30 people on your Discord group or several thousand, have raiding be for anyone and everyone. Don't exclude people just because they are not part of your close circle. If someone wants to join you and your group or jump in on a raid train, let them. The more people in the lobby, the faster the raid boss goes down anyway, which could allow you to knock out more raids on your train, so it's really a win-win. 6. Communicate. I've been saying it repeatedly throughout this guide, but I cannot stress this enough. Communication makes you a great raider. Whether through Discord, Facebook chat, WhatsApp, text messages, etc., you want to make sure you are not leaving your raid group out of the loop on your situation. If you're attending the raid, let them know so they can expect you. If you are running a little late, let them know. If you need to bail, let them know so that they don't sit there waiting for you. If you have other potential raids that the group can do after the set raid, then by all means communicate that. I can't tell you how many times I've done raids where someone shows up unannounced and disrupts the entire group, who either wanted to start the raid early because everyone who said they were coming had all arrived early, or because they wanted to set a carpool for a raid train. Just talk, it's that simple. Lastly, and probably the most important, don't be an elitist. If there are new players or young players who don't know the intricacies of raiding, don't be a jerk. Not everyone watches YouTube videos or go on Reddit. People may not know about the best counters to a raid boss. Rather than shutting these players out, be someone who is inclusive and is willing to teach them. Now let's talk about the more important aspect of raid etiquette, and that is how to be a good raider to your community. First, do not be loud or disruptive. If you're pulling into a park or business, don't blast your music loud in your car. Not only is this annoying, but it leaves a bad impression on business owners and other people in your area. You want to be a model citizen, someone who is there to be a positive presence, and not someone who is there to disturb the neighborhood. People want peace and quiet. Talking amongst yourselves is always fine, but shouting and screaming and playing loud music is never okay. Second, be in and out. Don't loiter or stay too long after the raid. Remember that most raids take place in public places where businesses need to run, parking lots are used for various reasons, and where families spend time with each other. For people who do not play Pokémon GO, it would seem rather odd, if not threatening, if a group of 10 to 20 people suddenly showed up to a parking lot and stuck around for 30 minutes talking about God knows what. You want to take care of your business and be on your way. The longer you are there, the more people will start asking questions, and the more they perceive Pokémon GO as a disruption to their daily lives. Prevent these awkward interactions by being in and out. It's that simple. Third, clean up after yourself. I feel like this should be common sense, but I see it all the time. People show up to raid with their lunches or with a drink, and they either forget about it or they just litter. If you don't want the public to perceive Pokemon Go players as a negative to their neighborhood, then do the right thing and pick up your trash. This also applies to smokers. If you're going to be smoking at a raid, be considerate to the people around you and the places that you are. People don't want cigarette butts littered all over their parks and driveways. Always be courteous and clean up. The ideal scenario is that you wouldn't have known that people were even there in the first place. 4. Be kind and courteous to business owners and property managers. If someone comes out and asks why people are standing outside of their business, don't be rude. Just tell them why you were there. And if they want you to leave, just tell them politely that you will be finished within a couple of minutes and you'll be on your way. Chances are the business owners will be okay with this. So don't be rude. Don't be the person to make business owners want the gym removed from their business. Be the kind of person that they want to have you come back. Number 5, report bad behavior and criminal activity and look out for each other. Look, I get that nobody wants to be a snitch, but remember that you have a responsibility to the community and your group of players. If someone in your group is being disruptive, you can either kindly talk to them about it in private or tell someone in your group's leadership about it so that they can handle it. If you are in an unfortunate situation where your group's leader is the one being disruptive, then talk to the other leaders in that group or even leaders in other groups. You could always roll with different groups if you don't like a particular one, or start your own as well. And of course, don't turn a blind eye to vandalism and crime. Sometimes you will come across raids in not so glamorous neighborhoods. Since Pokemon Go players are the ones out and about the most compared to other people in a given neighborhood, they can be vital at stopping crime in its tracks. Now, what I'm not saying is that you need to be a hero for your neighborhood, and by all means, always prioritize your own safety. Use proper judgment. If you see something, report it to your local authorities immediately. And also, watch out for each other during raids. If you see a bad situation brewing, let people know about it so that they can avoid those bad circumstances. Sometimes, a raid just isn't worth getting mugged. Finally, if a raid is located on private property, don't trespass. If you're trying to coordinate raids, be considerate of those located in gated communities or businesses that are closed off after a certain time. Use discretion when raiding certain locations. Don't trespass. Just don't do it. You know that class action lawsuit that I was talking about? The one that got a ton of gyms and pokestops in rural areas deleted? Yeah, that was a result of several players trespassing on private property. If the statement, "This is why we can't have nice things," ever applies to anything, it is this right here. Do not trespass while playing Pokemon Go. The stakes are just too high. Now, if you abide by these simple rules, then you won't see any more class action lawsuits like the one Niantic faced, and we won't see activities such as raiding and community days going away. As players, we have a strong responsibility to be a positive influence in our communities. Be the positive that makes Pokemon Go look really good for your communities. And make sure you're not being rude to your raid mates, make sure you're not being rude to business owners and property managers, and you can see Pokemon Go raiding flourish for the years to come. I really hope this is something that resonates with you and it's something that you could apply moving forward as you go about raiding and playing the game. So yeah, there you have it everyone. That's going to be it for this video essay. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about raid etiquette? What do you think about Pokemon Go in private property and trespassing and all the different things that players have done along the way? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it with your friends, hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell as well. I am Count Jinsula and I'll catch you all later. Hey guys, before I leave, I have to give a little bit of a spiel. I mean, when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, it's extremely difficult to gauge how successful you can be on YouTube. Like, there are some times where I have a ton of views on my videos, and there are some days where I just have no views on my videos, and it really comes down to the YouTube algorithm. And there's a lot of times where I get dinged for some of the songs that I pick or some of the footage that I show, and unfortunately it's because YouTube's copyright system is a little bit broken. But if you want to support this channel financially, I highly suggest you check out my Patreon. A link to it is in the description below. Your support definitely helps me out, and it helps support this channel because I would love to crank out more videos and increase the quality, and for that to happen I do need your help. So definitely go and check out that link. And yeah, big shout out and big thank you to all of you for supporting my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell as well. Check out the links in the description below. I am Count Jinsula, and I'll catch you all later.